Well, good afternoon. This is my first attempt at doing YouTube instead of Facebook Live, and the reason I'm doing that is because uh, Facebook Live allows me to put it onto our church website, which then in turn can be accessed by some of the older members of the congregation that don't do Facebook, but can look at online and see what's happening. So I'm hoping that this will be an additional way for us to stay in touch with one another and the wider world as we go forward. The sun is shining through the window there, so you can see that I'm bathed in light. Looks like Jesus has appeared over there in the corner of the room, but it's not. It's just the sun coming through the room. I've also got my little friend here. The tortoise is around somewhere. He was on the floor nipping my Alpha Online. So first of all, just want to say a little bit about Sunday worship. We've only been doing it a week, so I think it's going all right actually. But one of the things that I wanted to do was to ask church members, different church members each week, to choose a hymn, to text them to me, to provide a YouTube link, um, so that I can upload them online, and then we can use those before we join together in worship on Sunday mornings, as a way of preparing our hearts, engaging with God, and also because we know that other church members have chosen those hymns, it's a way of us being in touch with each other. And sometimes some of those church members have actually said why they've chosen that hymn, why they've chosen that worship song, so that we can share with one another what God is saying to us, and what we're experiencing, not being together, and how we're coping with um, social distancing and being isolated to an extent. And it's a way for us to keep in touch, and it's a way for us to recognize that even though we're not together socially, we are still a body. We're still a church family. We still value each other. We still need each other in many respects. So I've put the playlist on our Facebook page, and you can also see the playlist on YouTube, and I'll provide a link to our YouTube page too, YouTube channel too, and hopefully that will be a way of people engaging with what we're doing as a church, particularly with Sunday worship. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Alpha Online, and this is quite exciting. This is a good idea, I think. I just want to read that out. First of all, I just want to say to people who don't know what Alpha is, I'll just explain a bit about what Alpha is. Alpha is it's a series of sessions exploring the basics of the Christian faith, and Alpha runs all around the world. It started at a church in London called Holy Trinity Brompton, and it was a weekly course where you listened to a talk about an aspect of the Christian faith, uh, and then you discussed it, and you usually started with a meal. Uh, but we're talking about doing Alpha online, and that would mean doing it in a slightly different way. And it's one of the ways that we can try to provide ways of connecting people. And so we'd like to do Alpha Online through conferencing. There's a web app called Zoom, which lots of people have been using recently as a way of connecting in groups in a web conferencing setting, where more than one person can join together. You can watch the same film together, and then you can have a chat together in the Zoom app, which is really quite clever. And what I'd like to do perhaps is for people to get in touch with me via Facebook Messenger or email or whatever, to say whether they'd like to do the Alpha course. And what I'll do is I'll sort something out where we can get together in a small web conferencing group. I can't even say that word. I'll get there eventually. Web conferencing group, and uh, we can watch the film. We can talk about it together, and we can see how we grow in our understanding of the Christian faith. So I'd like to just extend that invitation to people, really, to see if they'd like to do Alpha. I've always had, as a Christian, I've always had the conviction that everyone should have the opportunity to explore the Christian faith, to ask questions, to have those questions answered. And if we don't know the answer, to be honest about that and say we don't know. We can go away, we can find out, or maybe we'll just have to live with the mystery, whatever. But it's a way for us to explore the meaning of life, particularly at a time like this when people are anxious, where people are thinking about the meaning of life, where people are wondering whether there is a God, even, particularly in the light of things like coronavirus and the suffering that it is causing around the world. Can we wrestle with the sorts of questions that these things bring up? So those two things really: Sunday worship 10:30 on Facebook and hopefully through YouTube as well now, and Alpha Online. If you'd like to know a bit more about it, then find us on Facebook or connect with us through our YouTube channel, and then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, thanks a lot.